When digging around for the most interesting Pokemon facts out there, I've came across some that don't really fit into other videos, but I've still felt like, yeah, people will probably enjoy this. So that is what I am here to share with you today, a random assortment of cool Pokemon facts. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about a funny change to the move Vice Grip that occurred after over 20 years that you probably didn't notice. In Generation 8, Vice Grip randomly changed how it is spelled in-game, going from Vice with a C to Vice with an S. Not only is this random though, but it's also pretty ironic because the C spelling of this word that was originally used is how the word is spelled in British English, and they made the change away from that with the S spelling of the word in the generation and region that is based on Britain, which is both funny and a bit odd at the same time. In the early generations of Pokemon, the move Sky Attack was seen as a pretty powerful flying type move, so it's a bit random that out of all of the majestic, powerful flying types that this move could use to make itself look cool, it used a silhouette of Fearow in its Generation 2 move animation. So yeah, that already kind of feels like out of left field to begin with, but what's even funnier about this is that despite being used in the silhouette of the move itself, Fearow cannot even learn Sky Attack in Generation 2. Something interesting about the gym leader Erica that the games don't really get into is that apparently she's insanely rich, and this is apparently the case because her dad is apparently the president of Silphco. Again, this isn't something that the games really go into, but this is actually a plotline that is used in the Pokemon Pocket Monsters manga. And while you could say that the manga is a different canon or something like that, this detail seems to actually be supported across different Pokemon media, as the TCG card, Erica's Maids, shows, well, that Erica apparently has maids, which is pretty out of nowhere for her, unless you consider that her dad is the super rich president of Silphco. So this under the radar yet surprising detail about Erica actually seems to be somewhat legit. And what's also legit is today's sponsor, Ridge Wallet. And genuinely, Ridge is going to be the gift to give this holiday season. I have used a Ridge Wallet for years, and I will never use another wallet again. They make carrying around a wallet so much easier and low profile to the point where if you're using a regular wallet, you genuinely are going to have no idea just how much better a Ridge can be. A regular wallet, just to give you an idea, is like trying to stick a textbook in your pocket compared to a Ridge wallet. I can also personally verify how good of gifts they are too, because I recently gave some of the wallets that Ridge has sent me to some of my friends, and all of them came back to me and told me how much they've enjoyed them. It's perfect for anyone in your life who carries around money or credit cards, which, yeah, is going to be pretty much everyone, so hit the link in the description to check it out, and right now, if you act fast, you can get up to 47% off with their Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. I would personally recommend checking out their new BuyFlex wallets because as a Ridge partner who has seen a lot of their wallets over the years, this one is probably my favorite one I've ever used. It is a great blend of everything that makes a Ridge wallet great, along with that great and classic leathery feel of a regular wallet that still might be keeping you from making the switch. And trust me, making the switch is so worth it. So be sure to check that out with the link in the description, and thanks so much to Ridge for sponsoring. Sometimes you can also find interesting stuff within the various in-game trades, and this next one is an example of that. In Sword and Shield, there is an artist in Wyndon named Kapoor, who will trade you his Duraludon for a Frostmoth. This is actually a reference to British artist Anish Kapoor, who has also worked on some architectural stuff as well, which is why he trades you a Duraludon, which is a pretty neat reference and a great way to make an in-game trade all the more fun if I do say so myself. One thing that's quite interesting that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough is that there are confirmed regional variants of Shellos out there that we've never gotten the chance to see before. In Shellos' Diamond Dex entry, it says, its colors and shapes differ from region to region. In the Sinnoh region, 2 types are confirmed. That is a really cool and interesting detail, so hopefully one day they'll actually make use of it and give us a regional variant Shellos someday. This next one could also be just standard knowledge for all I know, but I personally only just realized that Overquill is based on a nautical compass, due to its body and spikes heavily resembling the shape of one, and it also being water-themed of course, and partially inspired by naval mines, just like its pre-evolution Quillfish. This one kinda blew my mind when I first noticed it, and also I haven't ever really heard it mentioned before either, so I hope you all find this as interesting as I did if you didn't know it already. Now we've got some crazy Pokemon lore to discuss. No, not that lore. And it's all about the beginnings of Pokemon itself. Because according to this original Pokedex book that was published by Creatures Inc. and contains canon information about Pokemon from the developers themselves, the study of Pokemon began in the late 1700s and was more or less founded by a guy named Baron Tajiron, which is obviously a reference to Pokemon's creator, Satoshi Tajiri. But what's also interesting about this guy is that apparently, according to the book, he is French, which, if you plug that into modern Pokemon lore, means that the study of Pokemon began in the Kalos region, which is absolutely wild. While that is fun to consider though, it is also important to remember that even though this book is considered canon, it's also pretty old, and its details are not immune to being changed or otherwise retconned, especially because of how much Pokemon has grown and changed over the almost 30 years since this book was written. But nevertheless, it is still pretty neat, and given that we are getting a Legends game set in Kalos that could very possibly have something to do with the past, and could potentially take place pretty close to the time period that is mentioned in this book, it would be insane to have some kind of reference or Easter egg to this little tidbit hidden in the game somewhere. That's probably not going to happen, but it would be pretty dang amazing if it did. And then, to kinda round us out, I've got some fun miscellaneous things that I thought were interesting from the recent Pokemon leak that just happened a little while ago. The first of these is that apparently, Alomomola was one of the first Gen 5 Pokemon to be designed and finalized, because its sprite, which is basically finished, is being used as a placeholder for a lot of the earlier unfinished sprites and Pokemon designs that were found within Black and White's beta materials in this leak. So that's pretty interesting, but also, that just means that they were sitting on this design and had it all ready to go that entire time, and still never once thought about having it evolve from Love-Disc. So like, what was even the point of that? Also based on information from this leak, it seems like Zebstrika was originally going to be a standalone Pokemon at one time and wasn't going to have a pre-evolution. And this is what it looked like at that time, which is pretty interesting. Something else I also noticed from the beta days of Gen 5 while going over this stuff is that one of Crocodile's early names was Ray-Ban in Japanese, which is obviously in reference to Ray-Ban glasses. That kinda gives a whole new meaning to how Crocodile wears glasses in the anime. And then another thing that has also been revealed in these leaks was this early concept art of Unova's gym leaders, which features some really interesting design changes to various characters. The biggest difference is with Skyla, who I have discussed before, who is pretty much completely different, and the others also have interesting changes as well, like Bryson, who looks a little more ninja-like, and Lenora, who looks a little more like a scientist or a researcher here, which is pretty cool as well. Those are all of the random facts that I've got for you today though, so if you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like because it really helps out a lot, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also be sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you with another video very soon. And until then, as always, I will smell you guys later.